What, you think there's going to be a giant sign that tells us what to eat?
You know, I said, you know what, girl? Let them rip their wigs off.
The Gay Grapevine is my network of queer people, both domestically and internationally, who are my eyes and ears and tell me things. I did not hear about it in this country. I heard about it from someone who does not live in this country. It's a lifelong commitment to establish a Gay Grapevine. The Gay Grapevine operates like above the CIA in terms of functionality.
Change the phones, change the phones 2 times a day.
All you ladies pop your pussy like this. Shake your body, don't stop, don't miss. All you ladies pop your pussy like this. Shake your body, don't stop, don't miss. Just do it, do it, do it, do it, do it now. Lick it good, suck this pussy.
Change the phones 2 times a day. It's nice, yeah, go for it. Then this pussy on wanna see it? Trick that's perfect. Jump, balls, deep throw circus.
I'm feeling so hungry, but I just don't know what to eat. I wish there was a sign.
Are your rock blasts a giga drain on those you've attracted? Hi, I'm Sandy, and I have a whole lot to share with you. Using our water compaction technology, we can give you a helping hand. Our product's patented formula, water pulses even harden detritus away, using our brine and salt cured strategy. You'll feel fully restored, refreshed, and with full PP. Wow! Don't worry, Nurse Joy. We've got this one. A $5 shipping surcharge may be applied to those outside Alola. This product may cause paralysis, curse, leech seed, and rock tomb-like effects. Please consult Nurse Joy if symptoms persist longer than it takes to battle 1,000 times in Legend ZA.
Pride Month because, you know, you gay and stuff.
Okay, thank you.
He got your gay balloon because it's got all the colors because it's gay.
Okay.
And I got Skittles because it got a rainbow on it.
Okay.
And I got your cookie cake. It said, be who you are for your pride.
Thanks. This is my Pride Month. Why did you do this? Why are you doing this?
What? Because you're gay.
Hope everybody's having a great Pride Month. Shout out to the gays.
Sylvian, your mom, the fried chicken I ate for lunch. What do these things have in common? Honestly, I don't know. But what I do know is that the live finale of the Girly Pop Cup, the Ho-Ohdown, is starting right now. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Shiny Stone. I am the creator of the Girly Pop Games. I'm also a content creator with a bad case of brain rot. I'm gay, I am a homosexual, and I am also, in fact, gay. Isn't that crazy? If this is your first time in one of our events, we are the Girly Pop Games. We are an organization with the objective of making competitive gaming more fun for queer people, doubling most things we do as a charity fundraiser. Well, a lot of us queer people use gaming as a form of self-expression, and many times the meta of competitive gaming doesn't reflect a lot of our choices. So we create experiences where queer people can enjoy the competitiveness of gaming while being able to use their cunty little creatures the way they enjoy. Now, this sometimes happens in live events, as you are about to experience today, or in the format of a little competition reality TV show for YouTube called the Girly Pop Cup. But stay tuned in our socials for more updates on that. Today is all about Pokemon. The Ho-Ohdown is a competition we organize in partnership with the Pokémon TCG subreddit Discord server. They got in contact with us and they said, "Hi, gay. We love gay, and it's awesome." So we wanted to do something gay and competitive. And we said, oh my God, we love gay too. And competition, if there's one thing that queer people love doing, is being competitive. Isn't that amazing? Let's do it. So here we are. Which brings us to last Saturday. All of our players competed in Swiss rounds of TCG and VGC to determine the top 4 of each one of those games. They fought bravely, wigs were snatched, nails were broken, and many, many earrings were held by other people while these incredible players clawed their way to the top. And today, we are going to experience all the battles the top 4 has to offer us. Now, everyone, I would like to ask you to take your notebooks because it is time to talk about how this competition will work on this Christian Saturday. And if you are in Europe, it is hot as hell, so I don't know, grab a fan as well. But anyway, the matchups of each one of these top 4s will be randomly assigned using the Girly Pop Randomizer of Fate, which is just like a website that I found that randomizes pairs. So it's like, you know, just to make things simple. Each matchup will go through a best of 3, and whoever wins moves on to the finals, where we will decide the winner of each game. The VGC winner gets a $50 Steam or Nintendo eShop gift card. Almost didn't say that. And the TCG winner gets 200 card codes for TCG Live. Yes, we are giving stuff out. Isn't that exciting, amazing, and so fun? Now, we did a very special format for both games because we wanted things to be, you know, very girly pop. And to explain those formats, I would like to play a little bit of a video of a gay person explaining how the format works. So please enjoy this short video from our dear executive producer, Robbie for short, or how I call them, Roberta Jane.
Are you tired of seeing the same competitive Pokemon over and over again? Do you want to compete but don't have the budget to travel? Are you gay?
Hi, gay!
The Girly Pop Games is hosting the Ho-Ohdown, a VGC competition for queer players of all skill levels.
Hi, gay!
And the winner will receive a $50 gift card.
But wait, room!
We are also hosting a TCG tournament, and the winner will receive 200 code cards for TCG Live. This tournament will run in Pokémon Champions, using Pokémon available in Season M2. However, we have two special clauses. Your team is restricted to only one of the top 15 most used Pokémon in double battles.
Ew!
And they must have a theme. Colors of the Pride flag, monotype team, anything you can think of. The TCG tourney will run on TCG Live using the standard format, but Dragapult EX, Crustle, and Raging Bolt EX are banned from this meta.
Oh my god.
We are also partnering with Nora in the Future's Pokémon Pride to fundraise for the Lambert House LGBTQ+ Youth Center in Seattle. To enter, we require a $10 donation. I thought you said we didn't need a budget. And I thought you'd have 10 friends to each give you $1. Find a straight person to give you the money. I don't care. You don't got $10? Share this video with someone who does. Register by June 17th using the link in our bio. And hurry, we only have 32 spots. Tune in to the Girly Pop Games Twitch channel to watch the live finale on June 27th. And let's raise some money for them queers.
Well, and today is the 27th, and today is the live finale. So let's raise some money for them queers. And this is how the competition works. Just wanted to add one important thing. The 15 Pokemon that were the top usage, we used the date of the 31st of May as the cutoff date. So that's why we see those 15 Pokemon that Robbie showed in the video. Okay? And because you heard a woman, we're still taking donations, by the way. Even though you can see here, we are way above our what's the word? Our goal. You can still donate. So please donate if you are able to. We are very excited and very thankful that we were able to get donations, even from people that just donated and didn't want to participate. So we are very thankful. Thank you so much for helping us to help fundraise for this cause. Now, I want to ask everybody in the chat. Press the number 5 in the chat if you are excited to watch the games, because I know I am. And I want to see lots of number 5s in the chat. I want to see excitement. I want to see crying. I want to see, I don't know, I want to see emotes. I want to see, and if you are pressing anything different than 5, we will prosecute you. No, we will not. This is a joke for the FBI agent that is watching us. This is a joke. This is not in seriousness. But anyway, I think we are ready to start this competition. So how about we see some VGC? How about we see some TCG? And how about we learn why I put the Ho in Ho-Oh? And also, before I go, remember, don't make unnecessary journeys. Don't take risks on treacherous roads. And don't swim in the sea where we are going on a short intermission. We'll be right back. And scene. Thank you so much. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I hope y'all are excited to see our players play. As you can see on the screen, we have the randomizer that I mentioned earlier to that, you know, randomly assigned the 4 players into 2 pairs. So first up, we're going to have Dinsfire and Lapbill play against each other in a best of 3. And then we're going to have Xeno and Hibby. After that, whoever wins from both matchups is going to the finals. And then we're going to have some fun and see whoever comes out alive. And by alive, winning the competition in a game with making pixel animals fight. Anyway, I am sending you all over to the casters for this first best of 3, where we will watch Dinsfire and Lapbill fight. So with you, please welcome our casters.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chlora. I'm a trans woman drag streamer, content creator, and artist for the Girly Pop Games. I am joined by Robbie.
Hello, everyone. I typically introduce myself with a very long name on the internet because the pun to my username is that you may simply call me Robbie for short. Insert Chelsea's come on in the background. Thank you so much. Shalora, I'm very excited to commentate these battles with you. Are you ready to start?
I'm absolutely ready to start. I'm so stoked for this competition. I think it's so much fun and is honestly a really unique experience to try something new and like kind of force a new meta into Pokemon Champions. Do you have any predictions or anything at all that we might see in this coming battle?
Well, I would love to start talking about that, but I will need to see both players' teams before we can do that, right?
I think so. I think so. But I know that last week on Saturday, it was a super fun time. We had a wonderful time. It was a lot of battles. It was very hard fought. I think it was really interesting to watch such an experience. What was your group like?
My group was the smallest of the group, of all the groups that we had, and it was very interesting to see all of the camaraderie of between the competitors. I'm like, good luck, have fun, you know?
Oh, we can now see the screen. We can now see the teams. And we can now talk about them without any.
Yippee!
So we have Din's team, which has the restricted King Gambit, sorry, with 2 megas using the Venusaur and the Mega Floette, Eternal Floette. And we have Lapill's team, which has the restricted Pelipper, and then a Mega Scizor.
I do see that. I think that for these two matchups, I'm obviously seeing a Rain team, but it's very interesting how we have Lapill's Palafin and Heliolisk combo that could start out the battle for some Shed Tail and Flip Turn shenanigans because there's some substitute there that could be going on. But on Din's side, she could potentially open up with the Sableye to maybe start with fake outs or do a Will-O-Wisp on some of Lapill's team because it's very much physical attackers, alongside the Cleavor with Stone Axe so that we can start setting up some of those Stealth Rocks.
Absolutely, yeah. I think bringing that Sableye might be really helpful if we can get some successful Will-O-Wisps. Getting that burn off really does do a lot to reduce physical damage by 50% that it would normally do. The battle is starting here, so we do get the Heliolisk and the Palafin on Lapill's side, and the Venusaur and Vivillon on Din's.
We do, and we get the Vivillon and the Venusaur, which is a little bit of a different approach than what I had anticipated, but we're seeing what I had predicted with Lapill's side. There's going to be some substitute shenanigans potentially seen here so that we can bring in the Palafin protected behind that substitute.
Yeah, realistically, Lapill has a distinct advantage here, I think, in that they can decide what Pokemon are actually going to be taking whatever hits that Din's team is going to put out. Using the Flip Turn with Palafin to set up the 0 for Hero, and possibly using the Shed Tail will switch out both of those Pokemon. So we don't really know what's going to happen.
We're seeing the Venusaur Mega Evolve here. We are probably going to go for some really heavy damage in the beginning. And the Vivillon with Shield Dust doesn't have Sleep Powder, so it's going to be a little bit of more of a protection Pokemon to take some of the damage away from Venusaur, as we see the Flip Turn going on from the Palafin to get that 0 to Hero going.
Yeah, this Vivillon is really interesting in particular because it doesn't have that typical strategy with the Sleep Powder. It has the Tailwind, Rage Powder, Air Cutter, and Protect. And we're seeing the Pelipper switch in to get the Drizzle and getting it draining. And what just happened with the Heliolisk? I was looking at my paper.
The Heliolisk did an Eerie Impulse to lower the special attack of that Venusaur, which is a very smart move from Lapill's because Venusaur is a very powerful Pokemon and a very powerful threat on the field right now. The Dry Skin on Heliolisk providing some healing from the rain, as well as some leftovers. So I think the Heliolisk, Din is going to have to find a way to get rid of that Heliolisk right now.
Absolutely. And with Venusaur having a 2-stage decrease in its special attack, it's really going to struggle here. And this Pelipper does come equipped with Hurricane, which will be 100% effective in the rain. It's very scary against both of these Pokemon, to be honest.
I'm gonna have to agree. Latbill is sitting pretty comfortably right now as the Venusaur is switched out for the King Gambit that restricted from our meta. The King Gambit is gonna be reliably and the Rage Powder on the Vivian so that we can take some of the damage away from the King Gambit as the Thunder connects to the Vivian, knocking it out.
Yeah, it's going to be 100% accurate in the rain. Maybe that Rage Powder was really important here to ensure that no damage came to whatever was being switched in. We are seeing the Tailwind now on both sides, but we know that Din's Tailwind will expire first.
That is correct. We do have 2 more turns of Tailwind on Din's side. The Sableye comes out. There is a potential here for a fake out, maybe some light screen so that we could protect the Pokemon from further special damage, particularly because Heliolisk and Pelipper, they're both special attacking mons, but I think we need to really start getting in some heavy damage. If Din can correctly predict a Sucker Punch, which is how King Gambit can do some reliable damage here, I think we can start getting the ball rolling on Din.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't really think that there are any wide moves, as this Pelipper does have Wide Guard. Otherwise, it doesn't have Protect or anything like that. So I think reliably, we're going to see a Weather Ball coming out of this Pelipper. Here we are with the Thunder again from the Heliolisk into the King Gambit, taking that very reliably with a cute 69% health remaining.
69%. We see the Weather Ball connecting. It's a Water-type move under the rain. Still not enough to knock out the King Gambit as we see the Kowtow Cleave take about half the damage away from the Pelipper.
Yeah, I think reliably we're going to need to rely on a Sucker Punch here to take out one of these Pokemon before they take out the King Gambit.
Well.
Yeah. What Pokemon do you think Lapil is holding on in the back? We do have the Mega Scizor, which is the only Mega on their team.
We already saw the Palafin, but that is probably going to be the Pokemon that's in the back, right? I think in most of these battles, we are going to see that Mega Evolution come out in that's the most powerful Pokemon on your team in most cases. Exactly. But we see the Palafin come in to clean up this battlefield as the King Gambit is protecting itself, the Foul Play connecting onto the Palafin, doing significant damage, and it was a critical hit at that.
Yeah.
Din's Tailwind is out, so I think Gladbill still pretty comfortable with 4 Pokemon, but I think there is some potential here with that Foul Play.
Yeah, the Foul Play taking advantage of the opponent's attack stat and it being increased because of the 0 to hero on the switch in. Incredible work. I don't know if they predicted that or what was going on, but incredible play.
I'm a little bit speechless myself. I think if that was a prediction, that was a really good prediction on their part. That Will-O-Wisp connecting onto the Palafin is so good for Din so that we can really render this Palafin useless because it's gonna cut all of the physical damage. The Wave Crash coming into Sableye. That Will-O-Wisp mattered 18%. Living that Wave Crash as Palafin with that recoil is getting knocked out.
Yeah, that was incredibly crucial. And this Palafin is quite scary. Even in the face of a Venusaur, it does carry Ice Punch with it and really could have done some lethal damage.
Absolutely. The Tailwind is now petered out for Latbill, but they still have the opportunity to set it up. And there is that Scizor that we talked about, the Mega Evolution for Latbill in the back, coming out onto the field. He still has the Pelipper in the back to set up the Tailwind, potentially, if he really needed to, but I don't think in this particular case, Sableye is a pretty slow Pokemon, as well as Mega Venusaur. Maybe for the King Gambit to try and get the leg up, but I think for Latbill, the speed control is in his favor.
Yeah, for sure. The Vivillon, you can't bring it back out because it's unfortunately fainted to reset that up, so Unless we get like a super speedy Pokemon against a very slow Pokemon, it's going to be a speed battle for sure, in the favor of Lapville for now.
Scizor Mega Evolving here, hitting a Protect to try and maybe scout out what the opponent is going to do. The Thunder is no longer 100% accurate because there's no more rain. Earth Power connecting to the Heliolisk, doing 2/3 of the damage, or 3/4, about 27%. But the leftover is going to heal just a little bit back, but with no more rain, there's not as much reliable healing.
Yeah, I do wonder if it's even worth it to switch out the Heliolisk into the Pelipper. The Heliolisk can't even use its Shed Tail ability at this point, I don't believe. I think it needs to at least have 50% of its health.
Yes, it does.
So we can really only see more Thunders, as that is the only attacking move that it currently has.
We could also see an Eerie Impulse again from the Heliolisk. The Mega Venusaur was switched out, so that we could negate some of that special attack, or the special attacks from the Venusaur, but I think a switch is in order for Lapville, so that we can get that rain up. But we are seeing the Scizor instead switching out, so that we can maybe get some more healings on... Or more Thunder from the Heliolisk.
Yeah. It's honestly a very good strategy to protect here on the Heliolisk, get the leftovers, heal, as well as the rain, and just get a little bit more health, just a little bit of reliable sustainability here. We are seeing the Kowtow Cleave into the Pelipper delivering its final blow, but we did get that rain up, allowing the Thunder to also be 100% accurate again. I think if the Pelipper had survived, it would have been able to get, I believe, the Tailwind back up. I think it's going to go down, or maybe it did go down. I think it's going down this turn.
The Tailwind has already gone down for both
It's already gone down.
sides.
Okay.
Yes.
That would have been helpful here, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And that Pelipper coming in, taking the Kowtow Cleave from the King Gambit, means that the Mega Scizor can come out healthy, at full health. There is still potential for either player to go take this win. The Protect goes onto the King Gambit. We still have the Sableye in the back, that Eerie Impulse connecting onto the Mega Venusaur, so that the special attack, we get two going down, as the Heliolisk taking that Earth Power now comfortably as the Eerie Impulse connected. Bug Bite wasn't going to do too much to the King Gambit, but it means that the King Gambit's Oka Berry was not going to do anything.
Yeah, that
it was gonna munch it.
It definitely mattered here, because that Earth Power definitely would have knocked it out otherwise. So it's really, I'm really curious to see how this battle goes. I think it really could still be anyone's game. I do worry though that Scizor's abilities, either the Bullet Punch or Bug Bite, might not do enough, but we shall see.
I think... What was I going to say? You know, sometimes you get a thought in your mind and you just really are thinking about this like amazing battle, and you're just like, I'm like really lost for words.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, both of these Pokemon on Din's team are super tanky, so it's really going to be a struggle to get through. But I mean, Heliolisk is a special attacker. We do have to rely on the rest of this rain. That is now a 4-stage decrease on special attack on the Mega Venusaur. However, Din has the luxury of being still able to switch out. So if we can get rid of this Heliolisk and switch out the Mega Venusaur, we can reset those stats. Well, now we can't anymore.
Unfortunately, that's not possible for
not anymore.
The Mega Venusaur to switch out. But I think one more Earth Power will be able to... Well, with the dry skin, the game immediately correcting me as the leftovers and the dry skin getting some of that heal up for some of that HP up for the Heliolisk. I think the damage is going to have to come from the King Gambit, but unfortunately at 21%, it is looking very, very worse for wear. I remember what I was going to say earlier, that Heliolisk, it makes me very interested to know how it's drained in terms of its effort values, because if we can train the Heliolisk to have so much HP, maybe a couple of effort values and defenses, it can really be a reliably tanky Pokemon.
Yeah, and this is what we love to see with changing up the meta like this. It kind of forces these new strategies to take place, and we can really see them in action, and the possibilities that we can make for our own teams, for y'all at home.
We see a double protect from Latville, potentially waiting for that rain to...
Yes.
Or potentially waiting for that rain to, although it's not really, beneficial for Latville. But we do see some healing back on the Heliolisk. Maybe we're scouting out what Dan was going to do.
Yeah, we only have one more turn of rain, so there is only one more turn of healing that this Heliolisk is going to get, at least from the dry skin. It is so close. This is very neck and neck. We have seen in the preliminary Swiss rounds that this King Gambit has been essential to Din's team, constantly being like the last to survive and taking out Pokemon even 2v1. We are seeing the Earth Power go into the Heliolisk, still not taking it out. Those heals definitely made a significant difference.
That -4 is really taking the Mega Venusaur for a loop. The leftovers again. No more dry skin healing, fortunately for Din. The King Gambit is going to have to maybe do some Sucker Punch onto the Scizor, which is still haven't received any damage for a couple of turns. That Heliolisk is Din's priority right now.
Absolutely. We're seeing the priority move Bullet Punch go into the King Gambit and taking it out, despite not being very effective. Those sword stances might have been essential here for that to take place.
Yeah. I wonder if the Sucker Punch having the same priority as Bullet Punch, or if it's the other way around, right? Maybe if she did the Sucker Punch onto the Scizor would have mattered, but I think with the -4 special attack on Mega Venusaur, it's just sitting here. We're just playing for time at this point as the Heliolisk continues to get some healing from the leftovers. The Scizor is at 92% health, with Venusaur not being able to do barely any damage. It is immune to the Sludge Bomb. It resists Soup, mostly ineffective on the Giga Drain, which I'm very happy that Pokemon Champions has mostly ineffective to show you that it's -1. And there goes the Heliolisk down.
Yeah, finally. It really is neck and neck here. The Venusaur being at -6 stages, which is the max. Oh, and then the Bug Bite going into Venusaur, using that, what is it called? Technician from the Venusaur. Yes. Doing that giving that extra power to that move, and taking out Venusaur, giving the battle to Latville for round 1.
That was a very exciting battle, Chillera, don't you think?
Yeah, it was very close, I have to say. Like, it could have really gone either way at several points, and I think they just both got very lucky, or at least maybe they were reading their team sheets and paying attention and saying, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that.
Maybe I should do this, maybe I should play for the long run, right? And looking at these two players' team sheets, I'm thinking that maybe for Din to turn the tide of this round, because one more win for Latville and he will move on to the finale, you know? I think for predicting that the Palafin and the Heliolisk were going to come out that first turn, coming out with Sableye and going in with that Will-O-Wisp immediately and really trying to take out that Heliolisk as soon as possible, because Heliolisk, as we saw, is truly a stall Pokemon in Latville's team. I think that'll be important for Din.
Yeah, I think the Sableye here was definitely an essential player on Din's team. Having Fake Out, Will-O-Wisp, and that foul play, especially for Latville's heavy physical attacking team. I do think it's really interesting that Latville brought both of their special attacking Pokemon, and so like our predictions about physical heavy was just sort of went out the window. But it could really be anyone's game still at this point. They could switch both of their strategies, and something new could be coming out.
Something new could be coming out. Maybe it's that Sableye I said. And it indeed is Sableye, but for Latville's side, both sides bring out that Sableye and that Kleavor to maybe get in that Stonex for the Stealth Rocks on the other side. Maybe we see the Pelipper again on Latville's side, because the rain is very essential for the team. So the Stealth Rock, because there's a lot of switching going on Latville's side, that Stealth Rock can do damage, chip damage after chip damage.
Yeah, I think it's a little scary knowing that the Pelipin is most likely going to go for a flip turn here into the Cleavor. But I think the damage won't be enough. It'll probably still be able to set up that Stone Axe and the subsequent Stealth Rocks that come up. If the Pelipper is setting in the back, which we most likely assume it is because we love weather, it is going to take a bit of extra damage because it's weak to rock types. Oh, we're just getting a hard switch here.
We're just getting a hard switch here. I think, fearing that fake out, I think Lapbill would rather have the rain set up, switching out Palafin reliably, that fake out connecting onto the keyboard, just like you said, and the fake out, just as Lapbill probably predicted, and that's why he switched out immediately.
Yeah, so it's a do-nothing turn, sort of. But
it's a do-nothing turn,
Lapbill...
but I'm sorry to interrupt, but there is the fact that Lapbill's Sableye is faster, unless there's a speed time.
It could be either. We'll have to see. But the advantage here for Lapbill was that they got to set up the rain. So I'm curious to see what Lapbill will do with this weather advantage, because Din does not have any weather whatsoever on her team.
That is true. It would have been maybe beneficial for the Venusaur to have Sun on its side because of Chlorophyll, but instead but we didn't opt for that, you know? But we're gonna see the Pelipper switching out for the Scizor. So we've now seen all 4 of Lapbill's Pokemon bringing in the Sableye instead of the Heliolisk, and the Light Screen coming in from Din's Sableye. That Stone Axe connecting onto the Scizor, doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, even though Scizor is a Steel type, it is also still a Bug type. So it is going to do neutral damage. Well, it did significant damage, but neutral typing damage at least. The Sableye from Lapbill did try to use Encore onto Din's Sableye, but because Sableye is a Dark type, it didn't work because of Prankster.
Right, and Prankster, little known niched interaction. Dark types are immune to Prankster. But we see the Mega Scizor coming in to try and get some damage. We saw the Venusaur switching in for the Cleavor, potentially to... Oh, I see the Disable was probably going to go onto the Cleavor, but because we switched out, it doesn't really matter. So that Will-O-Wisp is going to connect onto the Scizor, cutting that physical damage in half, so that Technician is not going to be very, very reliable right now.
Yeah, it's really going to cut, well, literally cut all of the damage that Scizor might do in half. It is a very reliable defensive play to bring out Will-O-Wisp for if you're ever facing a physical Pokemon. This Venusaur, I think, is in a pretty safe place to do what it needs to do. I think even if it went for a Giga Drain into the Scizor, it doesn't have enough health that I think it could take it out.
We see the Sableye switching out for the Pelipper. Not that it really matters because the rain is still up. That Pelipper unfortunately getting some Stealth Rock damage. And then the Mega Venusaur coming in, the star of the show. Look at her leaves, look at her giant flower. So Girly Pop. That Giga Drain connecting onto the Pelipper, getting some significant damage off of the Pelipper, and that Bug Bite onto the Venusaur, taking about half damage. Not quite enough to knock out the Venusaur, and that foul play. Bye, Scizor. It was very nice to see you.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what that would have looked like without the burn. I think it really could have taken out the Venusaur or taken it to a very low health. Put it probably in the red.
Yeah, even with the Sword Stance that happened onto the Scizor, giving it 2+2 attack, it still wasn't enough, you know, 56%. That's like a little bit less than half, but we see the Sableye coming out on Lapbill's side, which maybe we can do another fake out onto the Venusaur to try and get that Hurricane from the Pelipper, but it doesn't matter because the Protect on the Venusaur is gonna leave it very nice and protected.
Absolutely. I think Din has a distinct advantage here. Still also having the Light Screen up. can help reduce some of that hurricane damage. And now the hurricane is not going to be 100% accurate because the weather is gone. We still know that the Palafin is in the back, so it might be good for Lapbill to try to take the Pelipper back out, put in the Palafin, and then switch out the Pelipper back in to get that rain back up.
Yeah,
we see
but
the
you run the
switch
risk.
Yeah,
you run the
exactly.
risk of the Palafin getting some damage.
Oh! Why reset with Pelipper when we just have the move? We just have the move rain dance. Let's just do that.
Exactly! Hurricane connecting onto the Sableye, 54%. It became confused, Miss Girl. Don't hit yourself. Be careful.
And that the foul play into the Pelipper, finishing it out. And the light screen is now down. But Dinfire still has Sableye, could still set up the light screen, but the Palafin is going to come out. I do predict here that we're going to get a Will-O-Wisp right away into that Palafin. I think it's the safest bet for Dinfire to secure the win here.
Yes, and we still have 4 Pokemon on Din's side, so she's played it very well this round. The Will-O-Wisp was basically the star move from the previous battle that essentially rendered that Palafin useless, right? So I have to agree with you that Will-O-Wisp is more important right now than setting up the light screen, especially because you don't have any other special attackers on the other side.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate. Lapbill's Sableye is a little bit different. Its only attacking move is Fake Out, and we can't use that anymore since we can't switch out. So we're going to have to rely on Encores and Disables, and if it comes down to literally Din's Sableye, there's nothing that Lapbill can do. So thankfully Din's has a foul play that they have access to.
In the back pocket, yes. That Will-O-Wisp connecting onto the Palafin, which is exactly what Chalora predicted. The Wave Crash is going to connect onto the Venusaur. Barely going to do damage, about 25%. Oh, Palafin. Oh, you silly goose. You could have done more than that.
Yeah, getting 20% in return for only doing 25% to Venusaur is not a place you want to be in, especially when that Venusaur has access to Giga Drain. The Palafin itself does not have Protect in its moveset, so yeah, unfortunately, I think that is the writing on the wall, and we are so lucky to get around 3.
It is very important to note, as we head into that third round, Palafin is Choice Scarfed. So it can only use one move as it comes out on the field. And unfortunately, it was locked onto that Wave Crash when it came out. If it was locked into Ice Punch, potentially we could have seen a different story of dealing maybe more damage onto that Venusaur, but it was just, not the correct decision for the moment.
Yeah, I do think in terms of defensiveness, it is a tough call to know when to go aggressive and try to get your best defense is a good offense kind of strategy versus maybe the safer choice with Ice Punch, knowing that the Venusaur's on the back line. Because the benefit of having the Choice Scarf is the speed advantage, which neither player seemed to really take advantage with the Tailwind as far as I saw.
I think for that Tailwind, they don't really need to take, or, maybe Din needs to take advantage of the Tailwind, but she didn't bring Vivian that last matchup. So Lapbill doesn't really need that speed control from Tailwind because most of the Pokemon are already pretty fast. I think for Din, the lead of Kleavor and Sableye was very good, especially because we got to set up Fake Out, the Will-O-Wisp, the Stealth Rock immediately. So I think we might be seeing Lapbill switching back to that initial strategy with the Heliolisk to maybe secure that third win. Or the win in this third round.
I think Din's Sableye is actually quite scary here, which is something that I think most people don't expect from such a little guy, just a little gremlin.
Gremlin!
We are starting round 3 with Palafin and Heliolisk on Lapbill's side, and there it is, the Kleavor and Sableye on Din's side, just as you said.
Yes, I love being correct.
Yeah. Because of that Choice Scarf, we either are going to see the similar play where we get the hard switch with Palafin, or we're going to get the flip turn. Heliolisk doesn't have Fake Out as well, where Din does have access to Fake Out. Which Pokemon do you think Din should Fake Out?
Halifin. That's why it's hard switching. But because we know it's hard switching, I would go for the other one.
Yeah, let's see if Din predicted it from remembering from last round. No?
She did not remember for the last round, but you know, this is why we learn things. The close combat connecting to the Heliolisk. Yes! Knocking it out. We're not going to see that Heliolisk. Ooh, Din is playing it very aggressively this time. We didn't even see the Stone Axe.
Yeah, we still have time to see that Stone Axe. Oh, we don't actually, because on the flip side, the flip turn, if you will, Kleavor also has a choice card.
It does, but we could switch it out to maybe see that Stone Axe again. The Scizor coming out. Ooh, Lacto's in a very tricky position here. We know that the Palafin is out, but we don't know that the other two Pokemon on Din's side. We just know it's Sableye and Kleavor. We know it's probably going to be the Venusaur, right? But between the Vivian and the King Gambit, we see the King Gambit coming out, so we probably know what the team is.
Yeah, I think this is the safer choice, especially when Pelipper could be preparing a Hurricane. I mean, Kleavor is a Rock type, but it is also a Bug type. So we might see a Hurricane come in, and it is the safer choice to bring in this King Gambit, taking that Bullet Punch like a champ.
And it is also a Steel type, so it's not going to do that much damage, only about 15%. That Light Screen coming out to protect the team from some special damage. That Weather Ball could have been pretty deadly onto that Sableye, but because of the Light Screen, we take it like a champ.
Yeah, I think Lapill's thought process here might be to remove the Sableye before switching in the Palafin to really make sure that that Will-O-Wisp is off the field, allowing that Palafin to really shine.
I think you're so correct, because that Sableye has been such a sleeper hit. You know, people are really underestimating that Sableye on Din's side, so Lapill really needs to get rid of it. I think the Scizor, doubling up on the Sableye, especially because it doesn't have Protect, is going to be the better move. But we see the Sableye switching out in favor of the Venusaur, so Din is playing it really well, protecting her little guy.
Yeah, we're seeing another Weather Ball here, which Venusaur is going to take very well. I think it was a prediction from Din, thinking that, you know, they're going to take out my Sableye, let me switch in and try to protect it for later. We're seeing the Kowtow Cleave taking about a little more than half of Pelipper's HP. I think it could still technically be anyone's game, but Din still has the advantage here, having 4 Pokemon where Lapill has lost 1. I really do wonder what that Heliolisk could have done for us.
That Shed Tail, man, is what I really wanted to see.
Yeah, me too.
That's what I really wanted to see. I think that strat was so out of left field that we haven't really seen it in VGC all that often, that it's so unfortunate that Din just came in swinging with that close combat onto the Heliolisk. But we're going to see the Sableye coming back in from, instead of the King Gambit, the Mega Venusaur Mega evolving so that we can do some damage, but instead we're gonna protect our Venusaur because it is our star player right now. That Bug Bite connecting onto the Sableye, knocking it out. I think Latville has recognized that, you know, we really got to take it out.
Yeah, I wonder if it was a prediction to switch out here, but do you think it's better to... Oh, well, we're getting the Kleavor.
Immediate decision. I think we can get the Stone Axe onto the Pelipper to try and knock it out. The Kleavor has access to Rock Slide, but knowing that Pelipper has White Guard, that might not be the most reliable choice, right? And because we have Choice Scarf, we only have access to 1 move. At the choice for 1 move, that Rock Slide is not going to be, you know, the Stone Axe would be the better choice here.
Yeah, I really don't think U-turn is going to be very beneficial here. Even though it would allow the Kleavor to use another move later, I think you really have to capitalize on using that Stone Axe earlier. And now that we are kind of in the mid-game, it still has some usage, getting that Stealth Rock up. but we are just switching it out. Maybe prompting a kind of move that we can play more defensively against.
Change your costume, Din. Change your costume. Change it around. That bullet punch connecting onto the King Gambit. Unfortunately, they were expecting the Cleavor, but I was gonna say the Pelipper. It would have been very nice to maybe switch it out in favor of the Palafin, but knowing that the Giga Drain was gonna be there, maybe not the best choice. I think it's better to sack the Pelipper right now, bring in the Palafin fresh, and hit that Ice Punch onto the Venusaur.
Yeah,
and rely on the Scizor
if,
for the rest.
I think even if we switched out the Venusaur, that Ice Punch is still going to do a pretty decent chunk of damage into this Cleavor. So we really don't have good choices here. We are seeing a Protect from the King Gambit, and Close Combat was meant to go into the King Gambit, but it was protected. So we know now that the Palafin is locked into Close Combat.
Ooh, excuse me, there was a burp coming through. Where's Dan? Oh, it's Scizor upping its attack, the light screen wearing off. Not that it matters because we have two physical attackers on the other side. The rain is also gone, which Latville, it's a good decision to go for close combat because the rain is no longer there, so the wave crash was not going to do more damage. And also, who wants to get recoil damage every single time?
Yeah, the close combat finally going into that King Gambit is going to do quad effective damage, extremely effective, but reducing some of that defense and special defense. We could see the Venusaur going for the Giga Drain here, which is exactly what happened, taking full advantage and all of its health. We are stuck alone with our Mega Scizor.
It is Mega Scizor against
almost taken out Mega Venusaur and the Cleavor.
One critical hit and it would have been over for that Mega Venusaur. It's just Mega Venusaur and Cleavor. I think Mega Scizor with the Steel typing has some advantage here against the Venusaur, but the Cleavor could use the close combat. That's the most reliable move that it has in its arsenal against this Scizor. The bullet punch connecting onto the Cleavor, it is not enough. Wow, is Lapo going to take it at the very end?
Yeah, that sword stance from earlier definitely taking precedence here. I don't know if I would have, there's a little bit of mind games sometimes, right? Where you're like, do I protect my Venusaur that's almost gone? Or but I think for Latville, they knew which Pokemon was the threat here. Finishing off the game with a bullet punch, taking the priority, taking out the Venusaur.
Wow. What an incredible set of battles. I would say that I'm on the edge of my seat, except I'm on a standing desk.
You're on the edge of your toes.
On the edge of my toes, right?
Yeah. So with that, Latville will be going to the finals, and unfortunately, Din will be a semifinalist.
Wow. Congratulations to both players. Any final thoughts on these rounds? On this round?
Yeah, I think we're really seeing some star players, at least for me, in Heliolisk and Sableye. I think we really just gotta let them play. I think we've seen Sableye a lot more in professional play, but Heliolisk for sure is a star contender.
Absolutely. And I'm happy that we get to see that Heliolisk again for that final match. Shalara, thank you so much for casting these battles with me. Again, I was Robbie for short, game show host extraordinaire, caster, and producer for the Girly Pop Games, joined by
Chalora, who is also a producer. Oh, what?
I don't know which side you're on.
Oh, it doesn't matter. And artist for the Girly Pop Games. Take it away with, I believe we're doing some interviews. Yes.
And remember to donate.
All right, everybody. We are back with both of our players, Din and Latville. Welcome back. What a best of three, everyone. It was gaggy. I was gagged. I was gooped. I was also gagged and also gooped all at the same time. And I hope it was fun for y'all as much as it was fun for us to watch. Before I go to you, Latville, our winner of the best of three, I want to talk to Din first. Din, I wanted to hear from you. How was the best of three in your perspective? It got really close there all the time, and it was really, really intense. So I want to hear how it was for you.
Yeah, Latville had such a unique team, and I was definitely having to adapt and learn on the fly. There were a lot of opportunities that I could have played better, but ultimately, he came out on top, had such a great strategy, and I had a lot of fun with it. Even despite bowing out at the semifinals, I'm still very proud of my team and how far we were able to come with it. And I was surprised with how well I was able to do against him, trying to learn this on the fly.
I mean, I could see the both of y'all just, getting so into it and getting like stressed out and just the reactions and just like all the time, which was really cool. I also love the fact that this was the Battle of the Goblins,
Yeah.
like just the Battle of the Goblins. These goblins were just going at each other's throats, beating
were
each
going
other
ham.
to, just getting each other. That foul play was really cool positioned. I think it felt like the both of you were playing around each other's Sableye, because generally then you have a King Gambit. So whenever someone has a King Gambit, the entire game becomes about the King Gambit and how the hell can I get the King Gambit out of the field. But in your case,
Right.
it was a Sableye, because the King Gambit, we could do with that King Gambit, but hey, that goddamn goblin was just gagging everyone. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about your team? What did you have in mind when you were planning your team? And for those who don't know, we asked all of our players to think about a theme. And Dean's theme was the 2026 Nuclear Family Unit.
Yes. So, I started building my team about a month before the tournament actually happened, and I was trying to consider what I was going to bring and what theme that I was going to bring to the tournament as well. And looking at the restricted Pokemon list, I noticed that Floette was not included on there. And so my initial thoughts going into this is I'm going to use one of my favorite Pokemon, Mega Venusaur, to try and take down all the Floettes I thought were going to come up. And so I started building out from there. And eventually I ended up with my little crew of what felt like a couple of misfits with a couple of hard hitters. They felt like I had a couple seemingly runs of the litter with like my Vivian and my Cleavor and my Sableye, but they put in a lot of work covering a lot of matchups. And because I felt like my team was made up of a bunch of unique folks, I felt like they were called the 2026 Nuclear Family Unit. So in order, they are in the colors of the Pride flag, in the rainbow colors from right to left, bottom to top. But all of my names for my Pokemon in order: for King Gambit was my stud daughter, Vivian was my male mom, Cleavor was my neurodivergent dad, Venusaur was my gay uncle, Floette was my trans femme daughter, and Sableye was the woke dog.
The male mom was everything to me.
The male mom.
It's like a he/him lesbian.
Exactly. So I felt like they were just a little band of misfits coming together. I matched the color scheme with them, and I just felt that they were really unique, and I tried to uniquely prepare them for the battlefield ahead. Do you mind if I talk about one Pokemon in particular?
Absolutely, go on.
So I was really proud of my Vivian set in particular. I thought this Vivian was a nice last addition to my team. I have it sped to be 1 point faster than my Floette. And unlike a lot of other Vivian in the tournament that were running Compound Eyes, I brought a Shield Dust Vivian because I thought it was really important for it not to get doubled and die to a Fake Out double combination. So I wanted to have a Fake Out immune Pokemon alongside my Sableye. So it almost served as like a pseudo ghost type, being immune to those Fake Outs and being able to get that Tailwind off or get some damage in with Air Cutter no matter what to support its team.
All right. That's a lot of fun. I really like when people, and that's the whole reason why we do the Girly Pop Cup, right? I think what we do there is really to allow people to use these different picks to experience different type of Pokemon, and and be able to rethink the meta. A lot of the unexpected meta that end up making its way to like the official meta come from these weird ass competitions. So it's really fun to do these things. Now, Before we say officially goodbye to you, Din, any shout outs, any thank yous you would like to share with everyone?
I would just like to shout out some of my friends for being so encouraging with me in the lead up to this tournament and helping me build stuff, as well as all of my friends and my family being happy for me having ended up finishing in this. I can't wait to tell them how it went, and I was so happy to tell them that I was getting to compete in a tournament that was supporting something that I cared about.
That's great. Thank you so much. And we are very happy to have you here. And it's really amazing to hear when we have a queer person being supported by their family and friends. Isn't that crazy? So crazy.
It's
in the
I'm
year,
very lucky.
I know, in the year of our Lord 2026. So thank you
Right.
so much, then. Now, Lapel, I'm not going to get too much into it because you have a finale to be part of. But I want to ask you, what was the most intense moment for you? Because, girl, you were going through it. You were going through the entire best of 3. You were back and forth in your chair. You were doing this all the time. You were like, I hope this happens. You were just stressed out. So, I wanted to know, what were your highlights in the best of 3?
Definitely the most intense part was anytime that Sableye was on the field, because I think Din's had a really creative set with the Will-O-Wisp and Light Screen covering both sides of the attack, physical and special side. And it was so hard to I want to kill the Sableye, but I can't kill the physical attacker because I'll get burned. So I want to do it with the special attacker, but then she light screens and I'm like, no. Every time I was like, I think I have a way around, and then she made the right switch. She did everything just in a matchup that I find really difficult because her main sweepers are Venusaur and Floette, neither of which are really good in my Scizor just by chance. I think she played out of her mind, and yeah, anytime that Sableye was on the field, I was worried I was going to get boomed into oblivion. But fortunately, with Swords Dance, I think Scizor just can ignore the burn, and as we saw, just kind of started to blitz through the rest of the team. So Scizor supremacy.
All right. Thank you so much, Latvia. I am sure that the people watching who are Bug fans are having a moment today because we have Scizor on the field, we had Cleaver on the field. All the Bug fans of the world are just having an amazing time watching this tournament. So to the both of you, thank you so much for participating. Din, thank you so much for being with us so far. Lapel, I'm going to let you go to get ready for the finale. And to all of y'all in chat, press the number 2 in the chat if you love bugs. Press the number 3 in the chat if you think I'm the most beautiful woman you've ever seen. And thank you so much for everybody who has donated so far. And we will be back after a short intermission with our next best of 3, where Hibby Bo Bibi will battle against Zeno. See you in a few. Bye!
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Girly Pop Cup, the Ho-Ohdown. I am once again your commentator for this second round of battles, Robbie for short. And this time I am joined by a resident ally of the Girly Pop Games, Ace Trainer Liam.
Hello, everybody. You may well remember me from Pokemon WCF Moments, which will come back at some point, and, general Pokemon and Thomas and Friends streaming, because apparently I'm not 38 years old enough inside.
And famously, Tira Star's husband.
And famously, Tira Star's husband. That is my true claim to fame, my word. Follow my wife, don't follow me.
Liam, are you excited to get this battle started?
I'm absolutely hyped. I promised Shiny that I wouldn't do any cringy puns, but the UK heatwave needs to step aside because these games so far have been so hot. It's been incredible. Unbelievable. Ignore my dog. Perfect timing. She's been silent for the last 2 hours that I've been here. The minute I speak.
She wants that attention.
It's Essie.
She wants the attention.
She's 11
She
years
really wants
old.
some camera time.
And acts like she's 1. Honestly. But what about these Pokemon battles, though? That's what we're here for, Robbie.
Absolutely. I'm ready to get this Pokemon battle started. We are seeing a battle between Hibby and Zeno, our other 2 semi-finalists. We are going to see a pretty, girly pop team from either side once we get to see them on the screen. But I'm going to start since they're getting ready to.
I love the themes of these 2 teams. We've got Wigspo versus Birds of Slay.
Birds of Slay with Farigiraf.
Yes, Farigiraf the restricted, and of course Zeno's got the Whimsicott as a restricted.
Yes, he does. I think it's very funny that Farigiraf is playing the role of a bird here, and I'm thinking that Farigiraf is the one that's gonna come out on Hibby's side, maybe with the Empoleon for that competitive to get some of that stat boosts from the Intimidate from the Arcanine. But what do you think Zeno's leads could potentially be?
I think given the team that Hibby has, I think the Zoroark's going to play a pivotal role, because once the Zoroark's out, it's a case of figuring out, is the Zoroark on the field or not? Especially with the fact that it's the ghost type moves from the Skeledirge will not affect Zoroark with that normal typing. So I definitely kind of throw Zoroark out as a lead pretty much every game if it was me.
Yeah, I do agree with you. However, the one thing that Hibby will have to really pay attention is if, you know, Gardevoir has Trace, which has a notification, Arcanine has Intimidate, and Weavile has Pressure. So really, the Zoroark is going to have to come out with Whimsicott in the back, potentially, because Prankster doesn't have a notification. And that is, Zeno was in my group when we did the Swiss rounds as the Group 1 judge, and Zeno really used that Whimsicott Zoroark combo to really throw his opponents off.
Here we go, though. We've got a Weavile and Arcanine lead for Zeno, and that is could be a Zoroark on the Weavile. And then we've got the Empoleon and the Farigiraf. I think the theme around the Farigiraf has got to be that its neck is like a tree, so it kind of works with the Torterra for the birds metaphor.
Or it's the branch, the branch of the tree.
Exactly.
Or maybe it has some kind of symbiotic relationship with birds.
Maybe. Oh, and
knockoff
straight away immediate knockout, critical hit knockoff as well. You hate to see it, but already that opens up things like the extreme speed for the Arcanine now, since it won't be blocked by the Armor Tail.
Unfortunately, that Farigiraf was probably going to go for that Trick Room, as this Happy Feet, the Empoleon, gets Flare Blitz it to the face, activating that Citrus Berry.
Citrus Hydro Pump lands, though. And there goes Arcanine. That's a decent trade when losing the Farigiraf.
Yeah, pretty offensive first turn. We're already seeing one Pokemon knockdown on each of the Pokemon side. But what do you think our players have in the back?
I want to see. I really want to see. Well, I assume the Weavile is Weavile since it was using knockoff. I kind of wanted to see two Weaviles on the field at the same time. I feel like Gardevoir might be in the back, or potentially. Oh, look at that!
Yeah,
Called it. Absolutely. Gardevoir joins the field, and then of course we've got the Altaria, and this is holding the Altaria Knight, so I'm excited to see the Mega. We never see that Mega enough.
Ooh, and now.
The Gardevoir got competitive, by the way, if anyone's missed that.
That's what I was going to say, that competitive. Although the Trace doesn't necessarily matter for the Gardevoir because it likes to Mega Evolve to get that Pixelate for the Hyper Voice. That Altaria is also going to get Pixelate when it Mega Evolves, so it's going to be the battle of the singers, the battle of the pop divas.
It's going to be beautiful. I'm loving the Wigspo team as well. Every member of the team has the most luscious hair you've ever seen. My hairline's being put to shame in this one.
We're seeing that Mega Evolution from the Altaria immediately. That Cloud9 is not going to be very helpful for this battle because we don't have any weather going on.
Not unlike the previous.
Not unlike the previous, which was very reliant on that rain, right? But
so interesting to note the Gardevoir is slower than the Altaria.
It is. So maybe that Altaria is going to want to go for...
Oh, triple Axel. Only 2 times effective because of the change of type, but doesn't matter at all.
Wow.
Absolutely taken
Triple
down.
Axel knocking out that Mega Altaria right off the bat. Maybe that Aura Sphere. Oh,
that's enough for Happy Feet to go down. So there's only one Pokemon left for Hibby. Who's going up against the world?
The final Pokemon on Hibby's team is Rascal the Skeledirge, the little birdie. That's the
little bird on the head, right?
Yeah, I think it's really not looking good for Hibby right now because it's been hyper offensive from Zeno the entire time. That Skeledirge is just gonna have to either pull its weight,
and there's the knockoff.
Wow,
living on 10%, but with the Gardevoir still to attack.
How much damage does this Weavile have?
It's so strong. It's got to be a max attack Weavile. It's jolly though, apparently. So
it is.
That's
Zeno
crazy.
winning
game one
battle
already done
very cleanly. I think it's very interesting to know that each and every single one of these Pokemon knows Protect. So maybe going into this second battle, Hibby should use a little bit more of that protect to try and go for some more longevity for that battle.
Yeah,
to,
there
like,
need to be
keep
a few
going.
more defensive plays for sure, because
Yes.
Zeno is just coming out all guns blazing.
Yeah. What leads do you think Hibby needs instead to pivot? Because that Trick Room, unfortunately, was not going to come out.
I mean, part of me wonders though, like the knockoff that knocked out the Frigoraph was a crit, and I wonder, would it have been a knockout had it not crit? My heart says no, but my brain says probably.
There's a sliver of hope. I know.
It all depends on how
I know.
Frigoraph is trained.
It's very difficult. I think.
I want to see the Espathra because that can steamroll. Like Lumina Crash
Absolutely.
is an underrated move, especially with is this Speed Boost Espathra?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. So that could really get out of control.
We can get some protect. We can get a protect on the very first turn with the Espathra. It's a timid nature, so it's gonna really get advantage from that speed boost. And then just some Lumina crashes onto everything else. Maybe a Calm Mind, a Baton Pass onto the Altaria, so we can get some damage, or maybe onto the Skeledirge, which is the strategy that we saw from.
If I were Hibby, assuming the same leads from Zeno, I would bring Espathra and I'd bring Empoleon, and I'd protect the Espathra and I'd go straight for that Weavile, because that Weavile is a big threat to Hibby's team.
Especially with the flash cannon onto the Empoleon. It's going to want to target that Espathra because, Psychic type, Dark.
Hibby,
but
she's rocking
Empoleon-
she's rocking 3 Pokemon weak to Dark, and she's rocking 2 Pokemon that are 4 times weak to Ice, unless Altaria Mega Evolves. So Weavile is a massive threat.
Weavile, we see the same lead, but instead we're seeing Gardevoir on Zeno's side with
Balenciaga!
We see the
Let's go.
Espathra coming in, and maybe.
Oh
I
dear!
thought the
Speed
Frigoraph and the
boost on the
Espathra would be
Gardevoir.
interchangeable.
It may not. It may Mega and get Pixelate again, but at the moment Gardevoir has Speed Boost, so Zeno could go for a Protect on Gardevoir this turn to get some extra speed, which is wild.
It is incredible that the Gardevoir has such the versatility that it does, but I think the move from Hibby is still Espathra Protect, get that speed boost.
There's that knockoff again.
Ooh, and it didn't knock, just like you said.
There you go. Just my heart was right. The mental herb is gone. We get a Lumina Crash off the bat. Not very effective on Gardevoir, but going to get the special defense drop by 2 stages.
Harshly fell indeed. Our Gardevoir going for the Hyper Voice.
And there
knocking
goes
out the
Giraffe.
There goes
Giraffe.
Ostrich? I don't think that's a giraffe, Liam.
The Giraffe fainted. The ostrich is
It's an
okay.
ostrich.
Oh, it's Spath. Oh, it's You know
No,
what? Of course
for
it is.
Rigoraph, it's an ostrich.
Yeah. No, it's an emu. His name is Juarez.
The Happy Feet coming out, the Empoleon.
Love to see Empoleon.
We're in a very difficult spot here. I think Zeno has caught on with the speed boost and doesn't want to Mega Evolve, or maybe he does.
Straight into it. No, that's fine. With the +1 speed, right?
It's a +1 speed indeed.
And here we see a Protect from the Espathra. Just checking intentions. Maybe doesn't want to take another knockoff. There we go. That's the lead I was expecting.
There's the lead you were expecting.
Here's
with the
my turn
Empoleon.
1.
Ooh, the Aura Sphere connecting. Lives that Aura Sphere, which will be enough, hopefully, for that Flash Cannon to connect
Pops that
onto
Citrus.
the Weavile.
Flash Cannon into the Gardevoir, though. It takes it out, but Weavile is unchecked now.
It was a
Flash
critical
Cannon.
hit, so it makes me wonder, did the crit matter? Because it was -2 special defense.
I feel like the crit didn't matter with that -2 special defense.
I feel like it didn't either. We see another speed boost from the Espathra coming on. That Weavile is still very threatening to the Espathra. We need to take it out.
It's worth
Maybe
noting
needs to take that
this
Weavile out.
Espathra's only attacking move is Lumina Crash. So
It is.
it cannot do anything to Weavile. But it does have Baton Pass to swap out those speed boosts.
Yeah, potentially onto the Skeledirge, which is the strategy that she typically employed in her Swiss rounds. The Baton Pass onto the Skeledirge. Skeledirge has Unaware, so any speed
drops,
any boosts, anything, it would just be ignored, right?
Yes.
But I think the Happy Feet really needs to focus on the Flash Cannon.
Yeah, the Lumina Crash goes into the... I assume what Hibby's thinking here is... okay. Knock off into Flash Cannon. I was going to say, I'm assuming Hibby would think, oh, that's such a shame, the 1% live. I thought Hibby was going to think, oh, I'm going to lose a Spathra this turn probably to the Weavile, so let me just get some special defense drops on Primarina, who's specially bulky, and then take it out with Empoleon. But a Spathra lives to see another day, so can surely take out Primarina. Altaria hits the field. I probably would have baton passed into Altaria expecting a knockoff, but Happy Feet goes down.
It's now at +3 speed, so as Espathra is definitely gonna go first. To the Altaria is gonna Mega Evolve for sure. Maybe that Hyper Voice is enough to knock out the Weavile because the Primarina doesn't have, there's no Wide Guard happening here.
No, there's no protection against the Pixelate Hyper Voice, which will bring Weavile down to Sash.
But who knows? We do have Protect on every single Pokemon, so maybe the Protect will go onto the Weavile.
I do worry about...
Yeah.
Oh, the Weavile switches out. I was worried about the Weavile outspeeding with a triple axle, but I guess the Arcanine resisting the Pixelate Hyper Voice is a great play.
Absolutely. And that, as we're saying, that Mega Evolution coming in, the Intimidate doesn't really matter. They don't really care on Hibby's side about the Intimidate. But Mega Altaria, the Lumina Crash is going to go onto the Primarina, knocking it out. That Weavile's going to come out very clean, but Hibby's playing it a little bit... Yeah, with fake out pressure. But Hibby's playing it a little more safe.
Yeah. Definitely. There's definitely more tactics being employed. They both kind of tried to go hyper offense in the first round, where this is a lot more calculated from Hibby's side.
And I think Zeno's also caught on and maybe is applying a little bit of that pressure, if you will. Haha. Maybe caught on into the fact that I steamrolled Hibby this battle very quickly.
There's no way she lets me do it twice, yeah.
Exactly.
Protect from the Ospathra. Oh, just checking intentions, blocking the fake out. Solid play there by Hibby. That's the defensive play we like.
Would have connected onto the Altaria as the Arcanine potentially goes for extreme speed. I thought it would have maybe gone for Rock Slide.
Here we go, though.
The double protect, though, worries me because now that Espathra is 9%, it's going to get a knockoff, but it's still faster than everything else on the field.
It outspeeds the Weavile, so a Lumina Crash into Arcanine. You were about to say the same thing. Lumina Crash into Arcanine.
Yes. And
lower that
Lumina
special
Crash
defense
into that Arcanine with the Hyper Voice knocks everything out pretty quickly.
Surely.
Now that Altaria is a Fairy type, the knockoff is going to be resisted from the...
Exactly, and the triple axle will only be 2 times effective. Oh, Espathra went for a cheeky double protect, but it does fail. Extreme speed from the Arcanine, just taking Espathra down, so no Lumina Crash.
Dang. That Lumina Crash would have been very helpful onto the Arcanine.
There's that triple axle.
Triple axle.
Is it enough? It's enough to take down Altaria. That's really sad for Hibby. But that's not the end of the game yet.
It is.
Oh, it is the end of the game. I miscounted my Pokemon. Look at me.
And that's very interesting, Liam, because Pokemon Champions tells you exactly how many Pokemon there are left.
Well, Pokemon Champions hasn't met me. That's the problem. There we go, though. What a decisive pair of battles.
Wow, this one was very just straight to it, whereas the last battle was just thinking about every single little calculation. So Latbill going into the finale is going to have to really think about how Zeno's team is very hyper offensive and quick.
Yeah, I got to say, though, Hibby put up a fantastic fight in the second game. It was a little too late, but she did an absolutely fantastic job on adjusting to that hyper offensive style that Zeno was bringing.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts about this round before we move on to the interview?
I think for saying how quick this round was, I feel like given how Lat plays, the final might be very, very what's the word? Methodical rather than hyper offense. I've got a feeling we're going to certainly get a game 3, I think, in the final.
Probably. And I hope to see it too. Thank you so much, Liam, for joining us into these commentating with the battles and all. You're going to see Liam again in that final battle alongside Chalora.
Lucky
I have been Robbie for short. And Ace Trainer Liam, thank you again for being here. Donate. And
everybody donate.
Interview.
And I am here and I am back with our players after this best of 3, after this steamroll. And you might see something different on my camera, and that is because the software that I was using to give myself a little bit of a background was just, or a little bit of a green screen was just making my computer break itself. So now you get to enjoy the view of my messy office that, lucky enough, these two players are in fact covering half of the mess. So I appreciate that. Anyway, Hebe and Zeno, congratulations on such an interesting best of 3. Hebe, before I go to you, I want to ask to you, Zeno, how do you feel about stepping on the neck of a trans woman in the last weekend of Pride Month?
No comment. That's brutal. That's not. I couldn't. It was a fun match. We all agreed it was supposed to be fun. Anyway, I had fun. I hope Hibby had fun as well. She was a great competitor. I honestly got lucky with some of I was nervous the whole time. So yeah.
Of course, I'm just joking. Of course, we would never be in favor of silencing trans voices and just, destroying trans dreams. But anyway, jokes aside, Hebe, you have your team. I was the judge for your Swiss round, so I saw most of your matches and the matches of your group. And Hebe, by the way, had the best track record out of everyone in those Swiss rounds, by the way. And because I think you had such an interesting team with so many unexpected choices. And I love the theme about the birds and, the birds of Slay. And I love that you were like, I'm going to put a for a giraffe who is a giraffe. And then, you know what? Maybe I can make it look like an ostrich. And then Torterra as the tree, which makes sense, So it's those are a lot of fun choices. But I would love to hear from you, Hebe, if you can talk to us a little bit about what did you have in mind when you were building your team? What was your thinking to make those Pokemon work together? And maybe give us a little bit of light about the strategies you were planning to use before Xeno destroyed and crashed all of your dreams.
Right, before Trans Woman was... I'm just kidding. It's all fun. It's all fun. But... I really like birds. Okay, I feel like I have bird autism, but also I really wanted to build an anti-meta team, and I saw that weather was being quite a bit in the meta, so that's why I had Altaria, so I could switch between her not megaing, and then when the weather is gone, it's not a problem, then I can mega her. That wasn't a problem this match, of course. And I wanted to be able to have 2 speed modes so that I could be... One thing I noticed going into this finale was I think all the other teams had Tailwind, and I was like, oh, if I can get Trick Room up, I'm set. But then that crit happened first round, and I was like, no!
Yeah, that crit, I think, caught everyone off guard, because I think the casters were gagged. I was like, the entire time. So it really, I mean, I could see... they threw you off, that for sure. That I think I can see that you threw you off, and from my perspective, it felt like you were just like trying to go back also in the offensive to try to put some offense in, at least in the first battle. And then I feel like in the second battle, you try to reposition yourself. And I do believe that if that second protect would have worked, maybe we would have seen a third game or maybe a different outcome even.
Potentially. I just wasn't sure if Triple Axel would KO this, because it didn't KO the first round, I think. And then I was surprised to see it KO the second time, and I was like, oh no, because I was hoping I'd Hyper Voice, then it would just be, hopefully Balenciaga could have done something, but sadly the Protect failed.
Yeah.
But you played great, Zeno, and it was an honor to face you.
I might be wrong though, but I do think that Triple Axel did KO your Altaria, your Mega Altaria in the first battle, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, did it? Oops, yeah. I forgot.
Listen, and it's fine. Every battle is a learning, and even the most professional VGC players, a lot of the times they forget turns, they forget abilities, they forget items, even when you have the team sheet in front of you. So those things happen, right? You are on camera, you have all these things going on, you're trying to manage a bunch of stuff. So that is absolutely fine. Well, Hebe, before we let you go, I want to ask you if you have any thanks or any shout outs you would like to give to the world of Pokemon and all these queer people that are watching and that are sadly disappointed that you didn't win.
So I guess shout outs, I would like to shout out Voce Viva, my incredible bestie, sister, Twitch mod. Love you, sister, so much. Thank you so much for being a support. Thank you to Lucy, who helped me battle and train for this quite a bit. Thank you to a lot of people, but also I guess I'll leave off with, this might not be the last time you'll see me, so.
Right. All right, Hibby, thank you so much. It was incredible to see. I wish you could have seen more of your team. It was a lot of fun to see the battles in the Swiss rounds. A lot of very interesting to see the strategies you brought in and how you were able to counter so many different Pokemon. So I think it was really, really cool. So I hope you use that team in other moments. I know you're a content creator, so I do hope you use that team in other moments in case Champions is something you want to do. But
yes,
Zeno, now to you, and I promise I'm not going to make another joke about you stepping on the neck of a trans woman, destroy her dreams. But I don't want to ask you about your team because you still have a finale to battle in a few minutes. But I wanted to ask you, what were the highlights for you from the battle aside from winning the first match in 30 seconds?
Right. So yeah, that crit is crazy. The fur giraffe scared me. That damn ostrich / giraffe makes me scared every time. And I knew, like you said, you went into it thinking correctly. If you got Trick Room off, I knew that I was not looking good. So I went for it, and I did not expect the crit either. So I feel like from then on, it kind of, I started feeling good. But yeah, it was a fun match. I don't really, like you said, I don't want to say too much about my team or anything, my strategies going into it, but it was super fun. So thank you, Hibby, for playing.
It's really cool. I think from a perspective of what I see a lot of the times is because a lot of the Pokemon that we choose as queer people, we end up building those strategies that sometimes have a gimmick, or we have to set up a bunch of things or have to be a bit defensive. So it's really cool to see a more girly pop team that goes on a hyper offensive. And I think that's kind of refreshing as well because it gives a different perspective to that time because we're so used to see VGC where it's basically a chess game, but one of the moves in chess is basically just kicking the table and destroying all the pieces on the ground with a hyper offense, And I always find it refreshing when people are able to bring and make work Pokemon that honestly, I know Weavile is a Pokemon that is like really underused in like official meta, but in this situation, it was gagging everyone, right? And I think this is the first Girly Pop tournament that we don't have the majority fairy Pokemon, which is always fun and interesting because all of these homosexuals and queer people do love a little fairy. But we did have, 2 megas who were fairy. But anyway, so Zeno, I'm going to let you go to prepare for the finale. Hibby, thank you so much for everything that you did in the Swiss rounds and for playing and for being in the finale with us today. And I will let you all watch some more incredible videos in the intermission, and we will be back shortly. Bye.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are here at the finals. My name is Chalora. I'm a trans woman drag content creator, executive producer of the Girly Pop Games, and artist for them as well. And I'm so honored to be here with Liam.
I'm really excited for this final. It's going to be so, so good.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Both of these trainers have worked so hard to get all the way here, and it really is going to culminate at this point.
And of course, we've got 2 very, very different teams, obviously, because of the way the Pokemon are selected, but also 2 very different play styles that we've seen. We've seen a hyper offensive player. We've seen a more methodical, more of a setup player as well. And now they're going to go head to head, and it's going to be so much fun for everybody to watch.
Absolutely. Are you ready to watch? Are we ready to play?
I'm so ready.
Well, let's go. Let's get into it.
Get hype in chat, please. Can I get a Yas Queen in chat?
Don't forget, we are still currently raising money for the Lambert House LGBTQ plus Youth Center in Seattle. Just because we've met our goal and we've superseded it doesn't mean that you can't still donate. Oh, I got kicked out of the room, so I'm gonna
I also got kicked out of our spectator room, so technical difficulties, bear with.
Yeah. But between both of these teams, what do you remember about the battle from the one that you casted with you and Robbie?
I mean, we saw that very, very fast turn one, game one, with the crit knockoff into the Farigiraf was absolutely insane. Just taking that Trick Room out of the equation straight away was just absolutely terrifying. And then Hibby did such a great job of managing to kind of try and claw things back in the next round, but Zeno was just absolutely incredible, keeping up that pressure constantly.
Yeah, in the battles with Lapbell, it was extremely close, but Lapbell really made some really strong pivots. I think he has a strong understanding of like this is what's going on, this is what I need to do, these are my win conditions, and that is what I think makes a really strong player.
Exactly.
So the battle is starting here. Oh my god, I love the poses, I love the fashions. We love the netballs. So we're starting on Zeno's side with the Hisuian Arcanine and that super special Weavile we've been seeing applying pressure.
We stand the Weavile.
We love Weavile. And then Palafin and Pelipper on Lapbell's side.
So already the Arcanine's under a bit of pressure here because of the two water types facing it down. Like a flip turn from the Palafin right now would absolutely annihilate the Arcanine, let's be real. But there is that fake out pressure from the Weavile, but it's a toss-up for the Weavile as to whether or not you want to stop the Palafin from getting a flip turn off, or if you want to stop the Pelipper from tailwinding.
Yeah, and we have seen from Lapbell that sometimes he will just hard switch the Palafin rather than risk the... And we're seeing it right now.
There it is, there's that hard switch, as you said. Palafin out, who's coming in? Scizor coming in. Obviously
and the
not
fake out
afraid.
going into the Scizor, yeah.
So that was exactly the right play for the Palafin to leave.
Yeah, that hyper voice from Arcanine doing just under 50%.
Something tells me that's not an Arcanine then. So great switch there into Scizor.
Yeah, in case you didn't think.
yeah, just in case you thought maybe some kind of illusion was at play.
Yeah, Zeno does have the Hisuian Zoroark on their team. Sitting there with the hyper voice. We love an open team sheet if we were paying attention.
Yeah.
So we will really see how Lapbell will pivot knowing that information now.
Of course, there is that now powered up Palafin in the back as well. Which once that gets on the field, will be an absolute menace. Sorry, go on.
No, you're all good. That does tell us though that there is the Hisuian Arcanine in the backline somewhere. So that does give you a little bit of information of what is specifically on that team. We are seeing the Mega Scizor come out and a Protect on the Arcanine.
There's a knockoff into the Scizor. Of course, it'll only do the regular amount of damage because Mega Stones don't affect knockoff. And there's that +2 attack boost, which coupled with the Bullet Punch and the Technician boost, that's going to do a lot of damage onto Weavile, for sure.
Yeah, the Weather Ball going into the Protect from the not an Arcanine.
It's such a safe call as well to do that Weather Ball, because if you switch the Arcanine in and get caught by that Weather Ball, that's curtains.
Absolutely. We really need to get rid of this Weavile before it's too late, because it is holding a Focus Sash and it will hold on to 1 HP. We need to just get one hit at all.
The Bitter Malice blocked by the Protect there, but the Weather Ball going into the, as you said, not Arcanine. Down it goes.
Doing about the same thing that I would do to an Arcanine, to be honest.
Can you believe it, Chalora? That was a Zoroark all along. I had no idea. That's crazy.
That is bananas. I'm shocked. I'm astounded. I didn't expect that. You know,
I'm shooketh, is all I can say.
Yeah, I really thought Arcanine
Here comes
had
the real
malice.
deal. There it is, the Intimidate, dropping the attack to +1 on the Scizor there, and Pelipper doesn't care.
Yeah, I think Robbie had mentioned it in the previous match that Zeno's team has a lot of tells. So the Weavile, the Arcanine, and the Gardevoir all have abilities that will tell you that the ability is being activated.
Yes.
So if it's not the Whimsicott or the Primarina that the Zoroark copies, you're kind of given a little hint if you're paying attention.
Yeah. Once it hits the field, if you don't see that Intimidate pop, that's the Zoroark. Here comes the Palafin, though, in place for the Scizor. Scizor willing to sacrifice that +1 attack it had. to get the Palafin in. But a double switch as well. We get the Heliolisk in as well.
Yeah, and this might be really good play because we're seeing a Protect here from the Weavile and a Protect from the Arcanine. A very clean switch, and the Tailwind is also now gone for Lapill's team. So it really is up to the speed of the natural Pokemon as they are.
This is true. Although, of course, the Palafin is choice scarfed as well, so it can lock itself in and presumably move before everything on the field.
Yeah, it doesn't have access to
Jet Punch.
Yeah, Jet or Aqua Jet. What do you think is the move here to lock in with choice scarf?
I actually think with the rain being up, I'd be tempted to say Wave Crash, but then also the knockoff takes out the Heliolisk. Look at that, the double into the Heliolisk with the extreme speed, I believe. I'd say the close combat because it's super effective into both these Pokemon. I know the rain is up, but it's 4 times effective into the Weavile. Dropping it down to the Sash, hopefully for a Bullet Punch from Scizor to clean up on the next turn. And then that also guarantees that when the rain, you're not taking that recoil damage, but obviously you then run the risk of the your stats dropping as you go. So Pelipper back in though to put the rain right back up.
Yeah, I think the smart choice here is if Pelipper is fast enough, we can set up the Tailwind very quickly, allowing the Elephant to go probably before the Weavile, but that's only if Pelipper is faster than Weavile, which I don't think it is. And Arcanine does have access to extreme speed, so if it knocks out this Pelipper before we can set up the Tailwind, then we're going to see a tricky situation here.
Oh, Weavile leaving the field though. In place is Gardevoir. Want to keep that Weavile's fake out pressure for later. Drizzle copy is a shame.
Yeah. We are seeing the wide guard here from Pelipper. Probably, expecting maybe a rock slide. Yeah.
There's that close combat though into the Arcanine for a knockout. Look at that.
Yeah, we're seeing some pretty equal exchanges here, but that does leave Lapel in the lead here with 2 KOs versus 1. But we will probably see a Mega Gardevoir, maybe a fake out here. I think that Gardevoir is still at risk though because Mega Scizor is in the back and that Bullet Punch is very scary.
Mega Scizor, yeah, is a huge threat to both these Pokemon. It could very easily, like Weavile is going to fake something out this turn. And once that's done, it can't be used again. So then Scizor can just come in, Bullet Punch the Weavile, and that problem's dealt with. It's very... the Scizor's very comfortable switching in right now as well, because based on the moves that these two Pokemon have, the Weavile and the Gardevoir, there's not a lot that threatens the Scizor.
Yeah, I think even if the Palafin switched into the Scizor and took the fake out, it wouldn't be that much damage.
Yeah. Like, it resists the Hyper Voice, it's got the Bullet Punch pressure, so even after it's taken damage, fake out into the Pelipper, even after it takes damage, the Scizor can still get a clean move off next turn. Close combat, though, taking out the Weavile. I guess Lapwell is thinking Palafin's done everything it needs to now. It can go down to a Hyper Voice. Is it to what, -3 defense now? Special defense? Yep. Then it's a clean switch in, free switch in for Scizor.
Yeah, I think Pelipper, I thought maybe the thought was like the fake out could take out the Pelipper.
Maybe.
I think it's too weak of a move.
I think a crit would have done it.
Yeah, a crit definitely would have done it.
So now it's just a case.
Here could definitely do a protect just to scan or to scout out some moves. But yeah, Aura Sphere or I think Aura Sphere is probably the way to go here against the Scizor.
Because it will be neutral, and the Scizor is down to less than half its max HP, so there is a chance that the Aura Sphere does take it. But it has to take a Bullet Punch first, of course, when it's not protecting. So it's whether or not the Technician boosted Bullet Punch takes the Gardevoir or not.
And we know that this Pelipper can keep using Wide Guard over and over, so knowing that we used it the last turn, I think it would be safe for Zeno to assume...
but it is a one-shot! I know exactly what you were saying, but wow, it did not matter at all. That's good to know for Zeno next turn, though, that Bullet Punch is very much a one-shot into the Gardevoir.
Sword Dance not even needed.
Yeah, even without the Sword Dance, that's crazy. That was very back and forth, as we expected, but my word, Very, very.
Technician doing the work here.
Yeah, Technician goes crazy. Mega Scizor, I feel like it's a Pokemon you see not super often, but often enough that you kind of know you have to respect it. Otherwise, it will just steamroll. And I do.
Yeah,
I really. Oh, go on.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, you.
I was just going to ask you what pivot would you make with Xeno's team?
Oh, with Xeno's team, I think you've got to keep the Weavile. I feel like with how there's, how water heavy the team is for Lapbill, I wouldn't bring the Arcanine. I would take advantage of the fact that you've got Primarina. Rain is almost guaranteed to come from Lapbill. So if you bring Primarina, that Hyper Voice goes absolutely crazy. That'll do massive damage to Scizor, Sableye. Obviously, you've got the problem of the Heliolisk. But...
Well, and the Scizor with Bullet Punch too.
Yeah. But then the Bullet Punch is neutral, isn't it, into Primarina, so there's a chance.
Well, that's true, you're right.
Yeah, Rain Boosted Hyper Voice do big damage. We got Whimsy on the field, though.
Is it Whimsy?
Oh, that's a very good point. Well, we know that's definitely a Gardevoir, because the trace happened.
Yeah.
So, good question.
If it is the Whimsy, we'll be setting up a Tailwind.
For sure.
It will probably be acting first, other than maybe the Sableye. Unless we see a fake out play, then it'll come up to the speed of either of the Prankster Pokemon. But I think Prankster won't... Oh, it doesn't work on Dark types, that's right. So
that's
because
true. So
is not a Dark
no Encore for the Sableye.
Yeah. But if it's a Zoroark, the fake out won't work either.
That's true. So I guess we'll find out. We've got the Mega Gardevoir on the field. The fake out does work on the Gardevoir. Okay, that doesn't tell us. It still doesn't tell us. A flip turn into Whimsicott, though. Of course, it's Choice Scarf, so it's going to go before everything there. But free switch out for that Palafin. There we go. I nearly said Finizen. That would be very out there.
It's close.
It's so close. They look so similar.
If it was the Zoroark, we would have seen the transformation of the illusion by now. So maybe the Zoroark just isn't brought this round.
Oh,
but we are seeing the
Moonblast
Moonblast go into the switched out Sableye. Or sorry, it wasn't switched out. Just the Sableye.
Just the Sableye. But the
Yeah.
Scizor switch was a very great play there as well. 2 Fairy types on the field. Hyper Voice very likely turn 1 from Gardevoir, but you block the Hyper Voice. Scizor doesn't care if Whimsicott puts the Tailwind up, so it was a really solid play to get that Palafin out.
I think the safest play here for Lapbill is to use the Protect on Sableye just for now. Eliminate one of these fairy types. It's definitely an option to try to use Disable and Encore here, but I just don't think it's a good idea right now, just with everything going on.
I also have a feeling that there's going to be either a switch or a Protect from the Gardevoir, although I'm not sure what you would switch the Gardevoir to, looking at Zeno's team. There is a switch, though, because that Bullet Punch is scary. Into the Weavile, so risking going down to Sash on the Weavile, that's a brave play, but of course the Sableye can't do any damage.
And we are seeing the pressure notification, so we know it's not Zoroark, just to be
It's
safe.
definitely Weavile. Here comes the Mega Scizor. Surely this is Bullet Punch. Oh, Encore from the Sableye.
Yes.
I had Encore Disable in my head. So there's a Moonblast. Straight back into Sableye, though, so Sableye will go down very comfortably.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's something that I would have wanted to do, but
no.
I think it is stuck in the Moonblast, right?
It's locked into Moonblast, yeah, which means no Tailwind at least. But again, Scizor doesn't care about Tailwind, so I don't know what the thought process was there, but you know what? Often there's things that I don't know. But then again, what else would the Sableye have gone for? I guess Disable. Or Rain Dance.
We could have gone for Disable or Rain Dance, but we do get to set it up with the Pelipper here. Yeah, Encore for at least 2 more turns, so we're going to see 2 more Moonblasts here, unless we switch out the Whimsicott. Do you think that this Weavile is at any risk?
I think it's a massive risk, especially if they're... Well, it's going to live this turn at least, because we know it's probably going to fake out. But then, obviously the Gardevoir coming back in, that's a very risky play, because that could be a Bullet Punch. Oh, I think...
Well,
there's the
we'll never know.
So, not totally safe. I wonder if the Pelipper's going to Tailwind, or just go straight for a Weather Ball, so Weavile could go down next turn. I was
Especially
thinking
because of that Focus Sash.
Although not even down to the sash. That's crazy. But I thought maybe there'd be a double into the Weavile just because of how much maneuverability it gives Zeno's team.
Absolutely. I think the Weavile could try to go for Protect here, but we might predict to Protect and try to just go into the Mega Gardevoir. They're both big threats.
Yeah, I think the Gardevoir is definitely the bigger threat because of the amount of power it can put out. But the Gardevoir itself protects, maybe recognizing that it's the big threat on the field. And that was the Bullet Punch target.
Well, we're thinking 5 steps ahead, 5D chess, and we need to slow it down and go backwards a little bit.
Although the Hurricane is enough to take out the Weavile after that knockoff, although not boosted by the Sharp Beak, but shockingly, this high base power move was still enough to take 8% from the Weavile. Who knew?
Can you imagine?
In comes Arcanine.
Definitely Arcanine.
Definitely Arcanine. I think it's safe to say I don't think Zoroark is on this team right now.
No.
Given that all 4 have been revealed.
Yeah, definitely still scary that there's a Palafin on the back line, full health, not intimidated.
I really don't know what Zeno does here because there's, like, even the rain is lowering the power of the Flare Blitz, but I suppose that will still take out Scizor. Even with the rain up maybe because of that 4 times weakness, but it's just so hard to gauge. And there's that Flare Blitz into the Protect.
Yeah, it's a good call, but I do wonder if it's worth the risk of not bullet punching into this Gardevoir.
Yeah, that was a very brave Hyper Voice and it paid off. Pelipper did not go for Wide Guard, but Palafin comes in. It's going to be faster than the Arcanine.
For sure. And there is Whimsicott still on the back line. For the Choice Scarf move for this Palafin, what do you think is the best course of action? Because I think using a close combat here is maybe a little too risky.
I honestly don't see... I don't see any problem with going with Wave Crash. Bullet Punch we know can one-shot the Gardevoir. Wave Crash with a Choice Scarf is going to go before Arcanine anyway, and that's just going to one-shot it. So I think Wave Crash is a super safe play into the Arcanine.
Absolutely.
And then Scizor will just deal with the other 2 Pokemon.
And there it is.
I think Latville has this. There's the Arcanine down.
Gonna be big recoil though. Oh, and a crit.
Nice crit. I don't think the crit was needed, but...
Probably not. Could have saved that for later.
29% recoil damage, but... That's not even enough to worry Latville at this point, I don't think.
I don't think. And these being the last 2 Pokemon, it's kind of essential that we have a strong offense here. The Gardevoir did use Protect last turn. I think that kind of leaves it open unless it risks the double Protect.
I think risking the double Protect might... I was going to say it's the only thing really that could be done, but a Moonblast from a Whimsicott isn't going to get rid of the Scizor, who's now been locked into Bullet Punch.
Scary!
Yep, that's... Yeah, no, that's certainly game, I think.
Yeah, maybe that's what Zeno thought was going to happen. I'm not
maybe.
sure.
It did protect a couple of turns ago, so perhaps there was just a mix-up there, because I forget stuff like that. The Wave Crash doing big damage to the Whimsy as well. The rain's gone, but I don't think it matters. There's the forfeit. Game 2 goes to Latville.
It does. Maybe Zeno saw the writing on the wall and said, "Let's do it again."
let's call it, yeah.
Yeah.
But wow, so that was an absolutely mammoth contest.
Yeah, congratulations to Latville. What an incredible team.
Amazing stuff.
Proving for the millionth time that unfortunately weather teams always come up on top. Could they stop doing that?
Yeah, weather teams are so good. It's crazy. But like, you know, commiserations to Zeno, but Zeno put such a good fight up in those battles. Like, it was only towards the end of game 2 that it was really like, okay, the writing is on the wall. The rest of the time, the tactics were solid. The use of Protect was, you know, absolutely what you'd expect. It was really, really well put together. And the team was very, very interesting as well.
Yeah, I love the mind games of like, will we protect this round? What's the best course of action? And like, who should we direct each attack into? I think it's really tricky for Latville's team just because there are no spread moves.
Yeah.
So getting rid of that Weavile could have been tricky, but it ended up being just fine.
Yeah, I think the Weavile was the key piece holding this team together, and once that was gone, it was so harder. It was so much harder to pivot around things because you had nothing to stop that Scizor from taking
Exactly.
its turns.
Yeah, and with the rain, the Arcanine was in such a difficult position.
Absolutely.
Do you have any final thoughts here for this battle?
I think just absolute testament to both players. They played so incredibly well, and it's just the kind of thing we want to see in the Girly Pop Cup. We want to see high level play that's exciting to watch, so that more people will come and more people will donate.
Absolutely. I think it was Girly Pop indeed. And with that, thank you everyone so much for checking out the Ho-Ohdown, and please check out all of the other events coming along the year and from previous times with the Girly Pop Games. We are going to pass it on, I believe, to Shiny with an interview.
Ooh.
Well, everyone. I do have here with me the top two of the Girly Pop Cup, the Ho-Ohdown. Let me fix my camera. Thank you so much. Well, Lappy and Zeno, what a match. I guess karma is a bitch because you got clocked right back very fast. Well, I want to start with you, Zeno, before going to our winner, Lappy. So Zeno, tell me a little bit about the strategy of your team now that we're done. What did you have in mind when you were building your team and when you were putting it together?
Yeah, so I started mostly with Whimsicott and Gardevoir, and usually that works better, but the problem is every time I practice on the ladder, the one thing that got in my way was always a Scizor. And so I knew that coming into it because that bullet punch would one hit Gardevoir, and it was every time. So I knew I had to come around that, and then so that's kind of why I added Arcanine, and then obviously, like, you could see Lapill's team pretty much countered those. So I knew this one would definitely be a test, but I thought the Zoroark I kind of just wanted to throw in there, see if I can get anything out of it. It's just fun. So I figured I had to play him at least once this match. So yeah, I mean, it was a fun match, and I do love this team that I built. So yeah, love the hair. That's the point. Wixpo.
I mean, listen, I think it was a really fun match, and I think if there's one thing I learned from watching a lot of VGC, from watching a lot of different competitive players talking about their games and so on, and this also comes from the very first winner of the very first Girly Pop Cup, which is Sugi, who made top 40 in the Worlds last year and continues doing amazing. Made top 32, I think, in the Pokémon Champions ladder recently. I don't know. That woman is really great. So he always says that, like, sometimes you can be the best that you can, but if you get a team that counters yours, mama, there isn't much to do, because you cannot just have a team that doesn't have a counter. Like, that's not possible in Pokemon. So there's always an aspect of luck that will never leave Pokemon VGC. So Zeno, those were amazing matches. I think we were able to see two very distinct versions of your team, and I think it's a huge testament to how hyper offensive teams, they generally go two ways. You either set it up from the beginning and steamroll everyone, or you're gonna struggle to try to get it back on track to then be able to steamroll everybody, right? So I think it was a lot of fun to watch that, and also it was a bit of a fun game to try to find a Zoroark. Who was the Zoroark?
Right.
Where is the Zoroark? Was the Zoroark sent or not?
Yeah, I haven't won a single match in this tournament with Zoroark, and so I was seeing if maybe I could, but I just couldn't. He just wasn't there for me. It's okay.
And then you're like, maybe in the most important best of 3 of this entire tournament, I'm gonna try to bring her back, because I paid expensive money for that lace front, and I'm not gonna let it go to waste.
Exactly.
Anyway, Zeno, thank you so much. Incredible games, incredible gameplay. Thank you so much for being with us last weekend and this weekend as well. I hope you enjoyed and had fun. Thank you for bringing the wigs to us, to have all this fun. So, Lapel, congratulations.
Thank you.
For being the winner of the Girly Pop Cup, the Ho-Ohdown, the VGC portion of it. So, we'd love to hear from you. What did you have in mind when you build your team? Now that we can learn about this.
First up, really quick, I just want to throw a shout out to Zeno, to Hibby, and to Din for the games. Zeno, your Arcanine was a menace. Even in the rain, I think it one-shots my Scizor, so that was terrifying, and really, you had a really good team. I looked at your team and I was like, you have like 3 moves that are not attacks or protect. I'm scared out of my mind. So it was, when I was building my team, I think my main focus was like A, Charizard Y. Like, I know I have a rain team, but my focus was actually, I feel you, Chilora, I also hate weather. So I wanted to do something that countered Charizard Y. And my thought was Charizard Y really sucks because it has this like it gets sun right before it moves, which is like there's a really small window where you need to get your rain in. And I just had to think of ways to do it, but Scarf Palafin, Shedtail Heliolisk, and Prankster Rain Dance Sableye were like three ways that ways I could think of that could get it. And that was just to be Charizard Y. I ended up facing, I think, one Charizard Y the entire group stage and this game. So I guess the main thing in the team was just I was like, I need something for Floette, I need something for fairy types, and as we saw, Scizor was the MVP of everything. I completely agree with your analysis, Shiny. It's just tough sometimes in some matchup you have. I feel like in semifinals and finals, Scizor had the best matchup I could ask for. And starting on a back foot like that, I don't envy you at all, Zeno. So it's really well played. And yeah, it was all about Scizor carrying the leader.
Perfect. And it was really cool to see. I think the main thing that I like to see players going through whenever they're doing their best of 3 is how much they pivot and their ability to pivot from what they see. A lot of times I see a player that maybe didn't go so well in the first game, but then they pivot completely and then they just steamroll the other 2 games. And then, and then sometimes you try to handle a Pokemon that you can counter and then you prepare so hard for this one Pokemon and the other person don't even bring the Pokemon, So it can be quite tricky. Now, Zeno and Lapio, before I let the both of you go, any shout outs, any thank yous you would like to leave to the world and to the Girly Pops that are watching us at home?
Yeah, thank you to the whole Girly Pop Cup team, obviously, for having us. It's been super fun. This is my first tournament ever, and I was so excited to just get out there and play, and this has been so much fun. I want to shout out to my friends, Blake and Quentin, who I know are watching and helped me build my team and gave me the inspiration for the Wigspo team, so thank you to them. Shout out to my boyfriend Aiden, who I think might be watching, and then my friends Joe and Lee, who are in the other room. I'm currently playing at my friend's place because I'm traveling, so I'm not even playing at home right now, so shout out to them for giving me their office space to work. But yeah, thank you all so much for having me. This was so much fun, so thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you for
Happy
being
Pride.
here. Happy Pride, happy Gay Month.
Yes.
Yeah, and I completely agree. Shout out to, like I said, to the competitors. Shout out to Girly Pop Games for organizing. This has been a really fun tournament. I've never gotten to do something like this, so this has been so exhilarating and stressful, but awesome. Shout out to my boyfriend Cedric, who was watching, along with my friends Carlos and Jake. Thank you especially to Carlos for helping me prepare for this. He helped me build teams and give practice rounds and everything. And we went maybe a little crazy into it, stayed up a little too late, but it was really, really fun to get to explore all the dimensions of the meta. And yeah, just shout out to everyone. And I guess one more shout out to someone who does not know me, Nikki on Spotify, my favorite artist, N-I-K, not Nicki Minaj, Nicole Zavanya. Anyways, with that out of the way, happy Pride. And yeah, thank you guys so much.
And this is what we call gay homosexual fabulosity. Now, everybody, thank you so much for being here, the both of you. Amazing place. Congratulations again, Lapio. Congratulations again, Zeno, for going so far. And thank you to everybody who support these queer people and all the homosexuals mentioned. Thank you so much. So we are going to go on a bit of a longer break now to set up the second part of the competition. We're going to close off now. We're going to go on a bit of a longer break. I'm going to go back, give you a little bit of a mid-event update, and then we're going to go to TCG. So do not go anywhere because we still have an entire new game of competition to go through. So I see you in a few minutes, and thank you so much. See you later, everybody. Bye.